What's up guys, this is Crazy Adri and welcome to my APHELIOS guide. At first, APHELIOS may seem to you as a complex champion that he needs 200 years to master him, but he really isn't as complex as you think. His weapon order is the same at the start of the game every single game, and the starting guns are always green and red followed up by purple. First of all, his passive. At every single level you get to choose from picking AD, attack speed or lethality. I suggest taking attack speed at level 1 for some clean auto attacks and spacing, into maxing attack damage and lethality after. You can consider maxing out attack speed second if you are facing a lot of bruisers or tanks, and you rush Kraken for a lot of Kraken procs. As APHELIOS we have 5 guns, each having 50 ammo. Auto attacks cost 1 and every Q costs 10. However, we can also use Q even if we have 1 ammunition left. As I mentioned at the start, the guns are always in the same order. Me personally, when I started playing this champ, I was learning the guns by color, and it made it way easier for me to memorize. We always start the game with green, Calibrum, and red, Severum, followed up by purple, Gravitum, blue, Infernum, and lastly the strongest damage dealing gun, white, Crescendum. Each of these guns is completely unique and strong in its own way. Pressing E on your keyboard can also indicate for you what weapon comes next. First up we have the green gun. This gun gives you extra range and is really nice for poking enemies at the early stages of the lane. Every green Q puts a mark on an enemy champion that you can auto attack straight after. You can use Q and ult for 2 auto attacks, but you must auto attack swiftly to use the second auto. You can also extend your green Q range by using flash for an unpredictable play. Using your red Q while having green gun as your offhand creates a mark on an enemy champion for a few seconds that you can auto attack from far away. After landing your green Q, you can still auto attack other champions for a few seconds before finishing your final blow on the marked target. Having purple as your offhand weapon, after landing your green Q you can swap to your purple gun to stun the enemy champion, which then creates an opportunity for you to not miss your green ultimate ability, to get another free auto attack. Now I'm gonna talk about green paired up with blue. Using your blue Q marks all enemies hit that you can auto attack, but you can only auto attack one of the enemies hit. But as you can see here in this example, I auto the one behind. Next up we have green-white, which basically means I look for a fight. This combo is extremely oppressive, especially in mid to late game. All you gotta do is drop your tower and whoever you hit, you can right click after. Enemies hit also give you a chakram stack. Hitting enemy champions extends your chakram stack duration for a few seconds. Green Q into auto also counts as an auto that extends your chakram duration as well. Here is a Q flash range extended combo you could use. To spice it up, you can even add Gale Force to it. You can also Q flash like a Kai'Sa W. The second gun we have is red gun. Every auto attack heals you for a small amount of HP. Any overheal with this gun will be converted into a small shield. This synergizes really well with the overheal rune in the precision tree. His ultimate ability will heal you for a larger amount of HP. The more enemies hit, the more HP he will receive. His Q deals damage to the closest target to you and prioritizes enemy champions, and also procs the press the attack rune. Using red Q as having purple secondary allows you to stun your enemies. Using red Q with blue as offhand does AoE damage to enemies behind their target. You should try to use auto Q with the red gun for a smooth animation cancel. Red-white in my opinion is one of the most OP combos for APHELIOS. Reason being is when you press red Q you get 4 chakrams. Adding white ult is a minimum of 10. So right here I press red Q to hit Kai'Sa and then Alistar for chakram stacks. I drop my tower down to deal extra damage as well and I chase them down. Keep in mind that your attack speed is higher with white gun the closer you are to the enemy. It basically works like a boomerang. The third gun we have is Gravitum, purple. This is the easiest gun to understand and remember. This gun is mainly used for slowing or stunning your enemies. Casting your Q stuns your enemies, but in order to do so you must auto attack them or ult them. Ulting multiple enemies allows you to get an AoE stun. You can also cast your Q during your auto attack animation for a faster stun. The second last gun we have is Infernum, the blue gun. This gun is insane mid and late game. The AoE splash damage is crazy. It's like a built-in Runan's Hurricane but more OP. Your auto attacks literally pass through your enemies. Having this gun we have the biggest opportunity to make a game-winning play. Your blue Q deals massive damage to enemies in front of you. Keep in mind that it has a slightly higher range than your auto attacks. You can't Q flash, but you can flash into Q to deal damage. Having purple as your offhand weapon, when you use blue Q you can stun multiple enemies by swapping to purple gun and casting Q again. Having Severum as your offhand weapon, when you cast blue Q it deals AoE damage in front of you and heals you depending on the amount of enemies or minions hit. Having white as offhand weapon, if we cast blue Q, the amount of enemies or minions hit is the amount of chakrams we get. Our blue ultimate deals massive damage to all enemies hit. With this gun we can make a flashy combo, like ulting, flashing into auto attack followed by Q, for massive damage. For a more difficult combo we can use blue ult, flash, gale force, auto, and Q for insane amount of damage. Let's watch it again. Lastly we have the white gun, Crescendo. This is basically the boomerang gun. The closer you are to the enemy target, the faster your auto attacks will be. White Q is placing a tower that deals damage in its radius. If we hit enemy champions with white ultimate, we deal a small amount of damage and we get 6 chakram stacks for the first enemy hit, and +1 for every other champion hit. When having blowgun as offhand weapon and dropping a tower, it will deal splash damage behind the enemy hit in its radius. With purple as offhand weapon we can stun the enemies that got hit by the tower, by swapping to purple gun and pressing Q. Having red gun as your offhand weapon and dropping a tower, when the tower hits an enemy champion it will heal you for a bit more than a usual auto. Let's talk about his guns for a bit now. So one gun pretty much affects the other one, right? For example, using green Q with purple offhand, it will apply the ability to stun the enemy. And the same concept for his ultimate. Your green ultimate gives you a mark that you can auto in this case, and purple gives you the ability to stun. So it's like they're combined together, right? If possible, you should always prepare your guns for a teamfight. Let's talk about his weapon cycling now. We always start the game in the order of green, red, purple, blue, and white. But what we really want is green, purple, blue, red, and lastly white. In order to do this, you need to remove your red gun first. Then when you have purple and green, you need to remove your green. Then when you have blue and purple, you want to get rid of the purple gun. Having white and blue, you want to use your blue. Having red and white, you want to use your red first. And lastly, white. And then your gun order should be green, purple, blue, red, and lastly white. For runes, you can go either press the attack or fleet footwork, depending on what you really want to play for. Generally, I play with fleet. I think fleet is just OP on this champ. He's easy to catch if you don't have fleet, and if you get to scale to mid or late game, you can take over the game no matter what runes you use. But press the attack is the better damage option if you really want to deal more damage in the early game. But no matter what runes you go for late game, you're gonna deal damage anyway. So it's up to you. And for builds, if you go with fleet option, I think Stormrazor is just the safest way and the most OP item for him if you go with fleet. But you can also go Kraken with fleet. But I think if you go fleet, you go with Stormrazor and Gale Force. That's what people are doing right now. And then you go BT or Lordoms, depends on the game, what you need. And then last item, probably Maul or GA to finish it off. And if you go with the PTA, I would go for Kraken first to deal maximum damage, because you already have runes for damage. So you want to maximize your damage. And then Gale Force, same thing, literally as the other build. So it's clearly up to you. So thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe the video if you really enjoyed that guide, and see you in the next video. Bye.